You stand on your prayer mat to worship your Lord. You raise your hands and say Allahu Akbar. But your mind is busy with the worries of the day, and your eyes begin to wander around the room. You look at the pattern on the carpet in front of you. You look at the person praying next to you, and sometimes in a moment of distraction or pleading, you lift your eyes and look up at the sky or ceiling. You think this is a harmless action of the eyes. You think you are just looking towards the heavens, but you do not realize that you are risking everything. You are risking the very ability to see the world. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, warned us. He gave a command that was so strict and terrifying that the companions were afraid to move their eyes. He warned us about the risk of sudden blindness. This is the untold danger of Rafs al-Basar, the act of lifting the gaze during the Salah, and why this simple mistake is considered a crime that could leave you in darkness for the rest of your life. The hadith is authentic and found in Sahih Bukhari. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said with intensity, "What is wrong with those people who look towards the sky during their prayers while they are supplicating?" His voice grew stricter and he emphasized the warning. He said, "Let them stop doing that immediately, or their eyesight will not return to them." And in another narration, he said, "Or their sight will be snatched." Pause for a moment and process this threat. The messenger of mercy is threatening a physical punishment. He is saying that if you look up while praying, your vision might be taken away and never come back. Scholars have discussed the meaning of this warning. Is it a literal physical blindness that hits you, or is it a spiritual blindness of the heart? The majority say it is a literal threat to the eyes. Imagine looking up at the ceiling for a split second, and suddenly the angels snatch your ability to see. The world goes black and you fall into darkness simply because you did not lower your gaze before the King. Why is the punishment so severe for looking up? Is it because the sky is too holy to look at? No, it is because of the bad manners involved, the adab of standing before the Lord of the worlds. When you stand in prayer, you are in a royal court. You are having a private conversation with Allah. Allah turns his face towards you during the prayer, as long as you keep your focus on him. If you stood before a worldly king or a boss, and he was speaking to you directly face to face, would you look up at the ceiling while he talked? Would you roll your eyes around the room? That would be considered the height of arrogance. It shows that you are not interested in the meeting. It shows that you are distracted and disrespectful, and that you do not value the person in front of you. So how can we do this before the King of Kings? How can we look at the decorations on the roof while the Creator of the heavens is looking at us? It is an insult to the majesty of Allah. The position of the believer in prayer is humility. We are slaves standing before our master. A slave does not stare his master in the eye, and he definitely does not look around casually. A slave keeps his head down and his eyes low. He shows his submission through his body language. Looking up contradicts the spirit of khushu, and it challenges the greatness of the occasion. There's also a spiritual danger called theft. The Prophet, peace be upon him, was asked about looking around. He said it is a stealing by which Satan steals from the prayer of the slave to ruin it. When you look left or right or up, Satan has successfully stolen a piece of your worship. He is like a fox waiting for you to lose focus, and he snatches the reward away from your account. But the warning about looking up is specific. It is much more dangerous than looking left or right reduces the reward, but looking up risks the punishment of blindness. Some people look up during the dua inside prayer. They think that because Allah is above the heavens, they should look at the sky when they ask him. But this is a mistake in the ritual of Salah. While the heavens are the Qibla for dua outside prayer, the Kaaba is the Qibla for the body inside prayer, and the place of sujud is the Qibla for the eyes. Your eyes must remain locked on the ground. Why the ground specifically and not the wall? Because the ground is your origin and your end. You were created from the dust of the earth, and you will return to the dust of the earth. Looking at the spot where your forehead will touch reminds you of your death and your humility. It keeps the heart focused on the prostration, which is the closest position to Allah. There's only one exception mentioned by some scholars, during the tashahhud when you raise your finger. Some narrations say the Prophet looked at his finger, but he never looked up at the sky. This rule applies to the prayer specifically. When you are outside of prayer making dua, it is permissible to look up towards the heavens, because the sky is the direction of revelation. But inside the salah, the rules are strict. You are in a state of confinement and discipline. You cannot move your hands freely or walk, and you cannot move your eyes freely either. The Prophet's warning, or their sight will be snatched, suggests a swift and sudden punishment. It implies that the angels are ready to take it, the moment the command comes from Allah. Do not test the patience of your Lord. Do not think I have looked up before and I am fine. Allah may be giving you time to correct yourself, but His warnings are truth, and they will happen. Imagine the regret of a person on Judgment Day who asks why he went blind in his old age, and he is told it was because of that one prayer where he looked up at the sky with arrogance. This habit often comes from a lack of focus. We are bored in the prayer, so we look around. We count the lights on the chandelier above, or we trace the cracks in the ceiling paint. This boredom is a disease of the heart. It means we do not realize who we are talking to. If we saw the veil of light lifted from Allah, we would not be able to blink from the terror. The companions used to pray with such stillness that birds would land on their heads thinking they were trees. They did not move and they did not look around. Their eyes were glued to the place of prostration. They understood the weight of the warning, and they trained themselves to have tunnel vision. Everything outside the prayer mat ceased to exist. Only Allah and the worshipper remained. So how do we break this bad habit today? First, we must become conscious of our eyes. Before you say Allahu Akbar, make an intention. Tell your eyes you are not allowed to leave this square. Force your gaze down, even if it feels heavy. If Shaitan whispers to look at something moving, fight him and keep your eyes locked down. This struggle is part of the worship. If you struggle with keeping your eyes open, some scholars say it is better to close them, only if it helps you to concentrate better, but the sunnah is to keep them open and down. Teach this serious warning to your children. Children are naturally curious and look everywhere. Tell them the story of the risk of blindness so they grow up with the correct manners of salah. Do not let them play with their eyes before Allah. Prayer is not a game, and it is not a free time. It is a serious meeting that determines your eternity, and it demands the highest level of respect. The eyes are the window to the soul. If the eyes are wandering, the soul is wandering. If the eyes are still, the soul is still. Control the window, and you control the room. Also remember that Allah is looking at you. The Prophet said, "Worship Allah as if you see Him, and if you cannot see Him, then know He sees you." Would you look away if you saw Him? Of course you would not dare to look away. You would be paralyzed by His glory. So use your imagination to build that presence and lower your head in shame and love. The prayer is the first thing we will be asked about. If it is sound, then all our deeds are sound. But if it is stolen and broken and disrespectful, then we are in great danger on that day. Do not present a prayer that is full of holes. Do not present a prayer where you ignored the king. Present a prayer that is wrapped in humility, with eyes that wept and looked at the dust. We ask Allah to grant us true khushu. We ask Him to protect our eyesight and our hearts. We ask Him to forgive us for the times we looked up, and to make us among the humble in our prayers. May Allah allow us to see Him in paradise, the greatest delight of the eyes that exists, and save us from the blindness in this world, and the blindness of the heart in the next.